The Knicks could be planning to make a major move happen, but that move may not happen right away. According to an NBA insider with The Athletic, the Knicks could intentionally overpay Precious Achiuwa in order to make a major move happen come the trade deadline. We're going to break down what the Knicks' secret plans may be for Precious Achiuwa and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks' secret plans for Precious Achiuwa. As we all know at this point in time, Achiuwa still remains a free agent. He hasn't signed with any contending team at this point in time. And the reports have indicated that many teams are actually interested in Achiuwa, but he has not accepted any deal as of yet. And I think we all know why. The Knicks currently are looking to trade for a backup center. If they need to do that, having Precious Achiuwa as a free agent and having him available to sign and trade so they can get that deal done is the obvious reason why he's still waiting as a free agent. Because if he does that, he can get paid a lot more money than if he signs right now with a contending team. However, the Knicks are getting very close here where they're going to have to make a decision on adding another backup center to this roster. And if they're not going to trade for one, then they should add Precious Achiuwa to this team. And according to Fred Katz of The Athletic, the Knicks would possibly do that, but also intentionally overpay Precious Achiuwa so that way they can make even more moves come the trade deadline. Let's break down these latest reports from Fred Katz on Precious. According to Fred Katz, not only could they hold on to their few remaining trade assets, but they could also intentionally overpay Precious Achiuwa. According to Katz, because of the quirks in the new collective bargaining agreement, re-signing Achiuwa to an above-market contract, even if he couldn't score more than a minimum salary at the moment, could give the Knicks more trade options come February's deadline. Because the Knicks are above the first apron, they are not allowed to acquire more salary than they send out in a trade. Thus, if they handed out Achiuwa the minimum, it would limit the number of players the team could deal him for during the season. But if they gave him in the realm of $7 million in the 2024-2025 salary, that would open up their options. Pair Achiuwa with whomever they sign for the mid-level exception, and the Knicks could execute a deadline deal that would trade away 0 players from their top 8 and bring back somebody who makes about $12 million-ish. Because they don't have the salaries for it at the moment, the Knicks couldn't build a trade like that today. Shout out to Fred Katz of The Athletic for giving us the following information about the Knicks and their secret plans for Precious Achiuwa. It seems like if the Knicks can't execute a trade, which they very much still want to do before the season starts, then they have no problem going into next season with Precious Achiuwa being somewhat of the backup center to Mitchell Robinson. Now, obviously, they don't want to keep it that way. Their goal, even if they sign Precious Achiuwa, is likely going to be to intentionally overpay him so they can utilize him as a trade piece come the trade deadline. They're likely going to utilize him, maybe Deuce McBride, definitely their protected picks, and hopefully they'll be able to utilize Jericho in that deal as well, too, to get a legit player on this team that can have an impact, that can make us better for now and in the future. That's the player that we need. Hopefully the Knicks can get a deal done before the season because you don't want to ruin the chemistry. You want it to get better and better and better as the season goes on. If you make a deal for that type of player, whether it be a backup center or a starting center, come the trade deadline, it'll shift your chemistry. And yes, the Knicks can likely get it done without any issues, but they don't need any obstacles like that in their way. They're going into a championship window next season. They don't need anything weighing them down. If anything, they need things supporting them up. They need to make sure they're in the right mindset, they're locked in, they're focused, they have the right players on the roster so they can maximize these championship windows each and every year. We need to win a championship. We did everything we did this past season and this offseason to set us up for this exact moment, to be a championship contender. And that's exactly what we are. And the Knicks are looking to make a few extra moves to make sure we stay that way. And whether they get that move done before the season starts or they have to wait till the trade deadline, it's clear they have options. And one of those options is to intentionally overpay Precious Achiuwa, use him as a trade piece come the trade deadline, so that way they don't have to touch any important pieces on their team right now. If they try to make a deal for a center that they really, really want, they're likely going to have to include somebody in that deal that they don't want to have to include. Deuce McBride comes to mind. But if comes the trade deadline and some team in the league has a player that the Knicks want, and that team needs a backup big, and you see Precious Achiuwa there, you see the money he's making, and maybe that's all it takes for that team to want to trade with the Knicks. That's why you hold players making this amount of money on your roster, because you never know when an opportunity can show its face. And when it comes up, you want to make sure you're ready. And that's what the Knicks are looking like they're going to do. Achiuwa is going to be an insurance policy. They clearly do not trust Jericho Sims. If they did, they wouldn't be looking for a backup center. And if Achiuwa plays backup center over Jericho Sims, I think that tells you everything you need to know about the franchise and how they view Jericho. And that's all I'm saying at this point in time. That's fact, nothing more than that. But if the Knicks do not get a backup center on this team, if they cannot trade for one or they can't find one in free agency, then I believe they're going to go ahead, re-sign Precious Achiuwa, and roll out that roster that they're very comfortable with right now and make sure they have it all the way to the trade deadline as best that they possibly can, and then make another move at that point in time to improve their roster. However, it's clear at this point, the Knicks have options. They can keep the current roster they have. They can sign Precious Achiuwa and do nothing else. They can trade for that backup center, or they can wait till the trade deadline, intentionally overpay Precious Achiuwa, and still get that backup center that they want, but in the process, not have to give up any of their core pieces, keep the same team going forward, and just improve us as we head forward for our championship run. That's likely what the plan is for this Knicks front office and Leon Rose. They have never led us astray as of yet. They have done moves to help improve this roster, make us better, and ensure we stay competitive. Because of that, you have to believe in Leon, you have to trust in him, and you have to know whatever move he makes is a move he had to make because he couldn't get something else done. But it doesn't mean that that move he makes is going to have us in a worse situation. Leon Rose is always going to find a way to make the Knicks get ahead and be in a better situation, no matter what is thrown our way. We've seen it time and time again, and we're going to continue to see it. Leon makes magic happen. He did it with OG. He did it with Mikal. He did it with Jalen Brunson, and he's going to continue to do it as he remains the president of basketball operations for the Knicks. Regardless of what move the Knicks make, I want to make something extremely clear. With the roster we have right now, if the Knicks made no moves at all, and this was the team we had headed into next season, I would still say this Knicks team is a top team in the East, and they have every shot to go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Boston Celtics and likely give them a very competitive series. I believe that in my heart. Let's put some respect on the Knicks, their moves, and what they've done. Yes, they still need to make other moves to get better. But even as we speak right now, we're still one of the best teams in the league. Everybody needs to know that, and we need to put some respect on the New York Knicks. Everybody right now is seemingly trying to find a way to hate on us because they know how good we are. But let it be known, they're hating because they know how good the Knicks are and how good we're going to continue to be moving forward. It's a great time to be a Knicks fan because the future is bright for right now and for many, many years moving forward. But what about you guys? What do you think about the possibility of the Knicks intentionally overpaying Precious Achiuwa so they can use him as a trade piece come the trade deadline? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.